Hey there, guys. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
There we go. I got an Ayame with me. How we doing, Luna?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
I said, how are we doing? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, sorry. It's a little echoey. How do I sound?
Oh, you sound fine. You sound wonderful.
Okay, I can't turn my video on.
Me neither.
Really? Hang on a second here. Let me see what's happening. That's probably on me. Why can't I turn on cameras? That's weird. There we go. Now try it. Try turning your video on there. Hey, there it is.
Adjust this a little bit. There we go.
Yeah, mine was looking yellow. It looks better now. Hey, look at that guy.
Whoa.
There he is.
Nice to see you, Hakester.
Way tall. How you guys doing?
Good.
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Well, that's good.
You need to turn on virtual background, Colby. You've got like a big white space. You need to have like Star Wars behind you.
Can I do that really?
You know, guess who needs to make us some Karma virtual backgrounds?
Who? Is it him?
Me?
It's him. Or that guy.
You? This one with the
See, you've got to point to the side. There you go.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
see, that's how that works.
Colby this way then.
Like, so this is Colby, this is Jake. Yeah, that's how you do it when you're on stream.
Okay, cool. I'm trying to find out where our fourth man is. You know, that guy.
Yeah, see, that's
Colby, you look amazing in space, buddy.
I'm in space. Where else can I be? This is cool. Hey guys.
Aloha.
Oh man, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
That's where
I don't blame you. I'm leaving it. So yeah.
See, here's the proof. Karma can be done anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah, you're right. You know what? You can do it in your own office or on a lovely beach in the middle of what I assume is the Pacific Ocean.
It is.
If it's the Caribbean, it would be the Caribbean, you know, down that's more Atlantic side. So
is it? I always get those two mixed up.
Yeah. I can see that Clint's trying to join.
Well, he's got another minute.
I know. At
that point, he is officially dead to us.
We'll boot him. As soon as he signs in, we'll just kick him out.
Hold on 1 second. I'm going to see if I can cut down the glare just a little bit.
Yeah, if you want. I've got a good reflection off of my forehead here, I can see. Oh, go ahead and shut that guy down there really fast. Okay, Clint, can you hear us there, brother?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Cool. You should be able to turn on the camera whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I'm taking care of a few things. I'll be turning that on in a second.
Gotcha.
Okay, that's a little better.
Oh man. Well, guys, thanks for joining me. This is the first Karma Chat or Karmic Transmission.
Yes, the inaugural episode of the Karmic Transmission.
Indeed. This is going to be a lot of fun, guys. You know, the really cool thing about what we get to do with a lot of this stuff is really done right here. You know what I mean? The fact that we can kind of get together and talk about big ideas and dive into a lot of different things that we want to work through, but all knowing that it all comes back to something that we do together. You know what I mean? It's still, even though we might be dealing with artists or you know, actors, just any type of person that wants to be involved can be. And it's because of tools like this that allow us to build that kind of community, which is really incredible, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of nice that this is like forced us a little bit into having to do things like this, because it is a really good way to, you know, reach. I mean, we've been talking obviously about doing a podcast of some kind for a long time. So it is kind of nice that we finally have the opportunity, shall we say.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely. So, and then having such a diverse group of people, and especially people that, I mean, people that have been involved from the inception. You know what I mean? People that have kind of seen the overall evolution and growth of where we've been going and what we've been doing and what we built this thing into and how much bigger we can make it is really an incredible thing, because it's not something that a lot of people can usually have access to, and it usually takes a lot more time. Hey, brother, what's going on, man?
Hey, just getting my stuff.
Dude, I'm glad to see you, man. How you holding up over there?
We're doing good.
Good to hear.
Can't complain. Life is pretty slick.
Yeah, it's kind of getting interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been good though. We've been really fortunate, lucky.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I've been thinking about that too, man. It's kind of interesting how much this has hit people in different ways, you know, and how fortunate in a lot of ways everybody is. You know, tools like this, the ability to actually chat and communicate, it's pretty impressive. So
Yeah, this is the best time to be in this situation for sure.
yeah.
We got screens everywhere we go, and we can get a hold of everybody. So it's easy to take those things for granted.
It really is.
I don't know. There's something to be said, I think, about, you know, sending off a letter 3 months ago and waiting for somebody to eventually write you back, having, you know, somebody ride up on a horse and hand deliver you a letter.
Oh, what, you miss the old days? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, God, no. God, no. Okay, let me just tell you something. It's like, this is the height of my inconvenience, right? So I ordered stuff on Amazon and just some stuff that I can't get at the store. I ordered it like 4 days ago, and it just shipped today. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, my initial thought is, this is the worst injustice in the history of the world, obviously. But then I'm starting to think, and I'm going to go, you know, this reminds me a lot of when I was a kid, and you would order something, and it would take like 6 to 8 weeks to show up, and so you would just forget about it for a long period of time. And now I'm so used to getting things like the next day, no matter what it is. It's like, it doesn't matter what I order. You know, if I order, you know, PS4, it comes in 2 days. That's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I am definitely not pining for the old days in that regard. I'm just saying that, like, they're here to a limited extent, to a very minor inconvenience degree.
Yeah. I feel you. So, but guys, big thing, the Karma weekend's this weekend. You know, it's unfortunately, I know they gave out all the new like changes and restrictions and all that kind of stuff, but we're still going to probably have to play it low key this go around, just because we're still really early, you know, which kind of sucks, but it's still cool that we can do it. You know what I mean? And in big parts due to people like you know what I mean? Like you guys right here, that we can still actually be that kind of active in our community and those kinds of people that are contributing in the way that we are. And we can still be locked in at home, right?
For real.
Yep.
So
I will say on that note, I personally have been extremely impressed by like how many people are continuing to keep their karmic payment going through this. Like, you know, a lot of people, obviously, you know, myself included, ended up getting laid off because of this whole thing. And I was thinking there was going to be a huge dip in, like, you know, the karmic payments, but it's been really cool to see that, you know, so many people are just keeping it going so that we can keep doing it, you know?
yeah. Oh yeah. Hang on. I got to get rid of a critter. Sorry.
That's not a nice thing to say about Rex.
Hey, Rex actually couldn't be here because he's out driving. He had to go deliver a load tonight, so he wasn't going to be here. Colby, the guy down this way from me, he's our fourth man out. I kind of grabbed him since Rex wouldn't be here because I really think that we got to keep these in even numbers to really help build them out as we go forward. Just because it gives a lot more perspective and it gives us a lot of different opportunity to bring in new people. You know what I mean? Because like, dude, Clint, I know that we can use you to get a hold of Carl, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, if we can
bring him on and dive into some of that stuff with him. So
yeah, he'd love to join this. So a lot of those guys, I think, it'd be fun to bring in.
Yeah.
Get into it.
Carl.
Yeah, who's Carl?
Yeah, who's Carl?
Carl's my buddy that I worked with at the Void.
Oh, okay.
And
Wait, is he the one that was on the thing the other day? The Star Wars collection?
That was Josh, right?
Oh,
it was
okay.
Josh.
Gotcha.
I worked with Josh too. But Carl, we were all on the install team together and we traveled together a little bit and stuff. But he's part of a lot of different causes and stuff like that. And so he's got a kind of a sharpened wit when it comes to those social things going on, for lack of a better term. And he would, I think he'd be fun to get into some discussions with, get his perspective on things, because he's a person that's interested in making the world a better place, and that's what we're all about with Karma is. And I think that this is what the world needs right now. You get on Facebook now and people are blaming somebody or fighting, and you read these stupid stories and see these stories in the news feed, people fighting over this, and Karma is just the antithesis of that. I think is what the world needs. Make this capitalistic machine work to our favor, to everyone's favor.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. And that's one of the big ones. I mean, Ayame, you were hitting it, and same with you Clint. It's one of the big things that really it comes down to is it's all part of the same. We haven't seen a dip. We delivered the same amount of food last month that we did the month before. Now, what's cool is we did have a slight uptick. We had like 2 more people get involved right before all this hit, and not even they left. You know what I mean? We've still seen these people stick with us, and I think that plays into directly like what you're saying, when people can see that this is what's needed, and it's a way of moving together. And so this right now would be the last time to want to get out, right? This would be the time to lean into it harder, if anything.
Well, it would be a very easy time to bail, but it's also like, it's kind of like at Christmas time and Thanksgiving, where people are more conscientious of other people needing help. But at the same time, it's like it would be convenient to be able to say, well, yeah, my income has dropped, my income has stopped, and so I'm not doing this. And obviously, I'm not saying that if that isn't the case, you shouldn't do what you need to do to survive. But it's just nice to see that, people are being especially conscientious of the needs of others right now. And like Clint was saying, you get on Facebook, you watch the news, and there's a lot. It would seem that there's not a lot of that going on, like not as much as it would be nice. And that's one thing I really appreciate about doing this and getting to, stream with you guys, is being able to see people who do care about other people, and people who are willing to kind of keep that going, even when times are hard for everybody. So
yeah, for sure.
Well, there's not an easier business to be a part of.
Okay.
It's $50 a month, and if you can't do that, you can't do that, and that's great. But it's the implications of consistently putting that in to make the world a better place are huge. It goes beyond just feeding people. It's changing everybody's mindsets. Let's quit pointing the finger, and you change yourself, you change the world, you make yourself the best person you can be, and that breeds and grows. And that's the core of this business, this beautiful business that's simple.
Yeah.
It's simple, it's direct. There's no fine print, there's no weird things going on. It's just, this is what we do. We're going to end hunger. We're going to work together and make this thing work. We're not going to get on Facebook and fight and shout and troll each other. We're going to reach out and see who needs help and who wants to be part of making the world better. I don't know. That's the way I look at it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And how you do that is the first thing that we've all done. The first step in any of it is taking that responsibility and claiming the authority of going, you know what? No, I'm going to act. I'm going to be the one that's going to do something different. And, anytime that people talk, it's the platitudes and the words and the rhetoric, they can be wonderful things, but if they're not backed up with the actual action, it's all just a fart in the wind. It all just goes away, because it has to be married with the action. And that's the one thing that, the social media, Facebook, Twitter, all of them, and even YouTube is kind of getting that way a little bit, to where the only thing that you're hearing is just noise. That's all that anybody's doing anymore, is they're just being loud for the sake of being loud. And I got nothing against raising awareness, but if you're not doing something while you're trying to raise awareness, you're just masturbating is what you're doing. That's all that you're doing.
Well, yeah, it's like no movie critic ever made a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's fine. The world needs its critics, but right now it's this. This is kind of a wake up call, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mother Nature, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, is warning us. Like, here are a couple things going on. How is the human race going to react to this and respond?
Yeah.
Are we going to keep doing the same thing we've done over and over, where it's got to get really bad before it gets better? Or are we just going to keep making it better and better? We have the technology. We can communicate with anybody anywhere in the world anytime we want.
Mm-hmm. See, the biggest one that we run into, with all the tools, the thing that I think most people run into, and Colby, I think you've seen this too, with all the jobs that you've done, a lot of people sit there and go, I don't have the time, or if I don't have the time, I don't have the money. It's one, or they've always got these two things that they're playing off of each other, and you're always going to have that excuse. You're always going to be able to find that thing if you want to say, this is the reason why I choose not to act. And to make something so easy as to just say, hey, all you have to do is contribute. If you contribute, you're a part of it. You don't have to actually go out and do anything. If you want to talk about it, great. If you don't, great. It's just one of those things where the end goal is to contribute. And this is one of the easiest ways of doing that. And on top of that, for the people that are busy, kind of like I said, Rex isn't here because he's one of those essential workers, right? He's a truck driver. So he's out delivering, I think he's got to go to Albertsons or something like that. So he's out delivering food, and he does all of that so that in his spare time, he can build a business ending hunger debt-free. You know what I mean? The big thing that a lot of people run into is they think that you have to go to these extremes. And in all reality, you don't, because he's doing that so that we, us four right here, can just pay $50 a month and be part of something bigger than ourselves to end hunger.
It's consistent.
It's one of those things that for people to just be involved is so simple. We don't all have to be that devoted. If somebody really is, just give them the resource to get the job done. If I'm doing something, don't get in my way and stop me. Just because you don't like it, just don't participate. That's all you have to do, and leave me alone, right?
Yep.
So it's really one of those big things to look at and go, that easy, you know. And like Ayame was saying, even when times get tough, you know, yeah, it's been a little bit tight, but $50 a month, especially when there are other people helping provide resources and things to get you by, it's still something that you can do, you know, and you can feel good doing it. So,
and those are the most important times,
yeah,
for us to be doing what we're doing, and
Yeah.
that would, yeah.
You were at the food bank with us last month, right, Colby? I can't remember. Were you at the delivery?
I don't think I was there.
I can never remember because I never remember. And
Yeah.
anyway, it was going to the food bank last month. I mean, you really see that, you know, just the amount of people that were there volunteering, because it's usually a really small number of people. Obviously, they had a much higher volunteer group than usual, but I mean, you know, you go in there and the shelves were just, you know, and I used to go all the time. So it's interesting to see how just bare all the shelves were.
Yeah, and
just how many people they were expecting to show up. So
yeah. Well, and that's the other thing, is that it's so funny that everybody's just been trained with this whole mentality. They're all trained to trade time for money, and so they can't like get out of that mind frame. So it's like, that's funny. They could be involved in karma and actually filling those shelves, but instead there's a bunch of bodies there volunteering, trading their time instead of putting their money to work to help end the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry about snickering there. I just noticed you had that cat on your shoulder.
Yeah, I know. My mom, she's trying to sucker me. She's trying to sucker me into getting feelings for it so that I won't find it a home. But
I already have feelings for that cat. That cat is freakishly adorable.
It's probably going to be gone tomorrow.
Oh, but it's so snuggly there.
Yeah. But there's other cats. There's other kittens too.
Yeah, but your cats are too
tons of cats.
Rubenesque to sit on your shoulder like a cat.
Too Rubenesque.
I mean,
they're rather football shaped, aren't they?
They're big cats.
So
they're fat.
They are. They really are. Yeah, this is cool, but it'll go somewhere else before too long.
Right. But no, I mean, I just, you know, Colby's really absolutely right on that. It's, you know, it's really good to hear. I just, you know, I'm not laughing at that. I liked it.
You better not be.
No. I mean,
take this very serious.
Technically.
How serious do you take it, Colby?
Well, I'm on a beach, ain't I?
I mean.
Well, what does that mean?
That means it's real.
That's how serious you are.
He was serious enough to connect to a satellite from the beach.
Yeah, exactly. I could be doing other things here in beautiful Cancun, Mexico.
He could be surfing right now back there.
Yeah.
I mean,
what kind of directional mic are you using, Colby? Because you can't hear the waves or the wind or anything.
Pretty impressive, right?
I got an expensive one.
Wow.
It's a real good pop
He's over
filter.
there, just making it all happen.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But the writers I have off screen, you know, that's what they're there for, is to really make sure.
They're holding up cue cards.
They are. You can't see it. It's a cat too, but
It's a well-trained cat.
Little Mexican guy I met on the beach.
Oh man.
Oh man.
But yeah, it really is just a neat thing, guys. And you know, one of the biggest things that I've always just loved is the diversity. You know, the sheer number of people for all the different reasons and everything that they might want to get involved for. Every one of them is just as unique as the individual person getting into the business, which is just unreal. You know, Ayame, it's like your mom. You know, I loved seeing her on the video chat last month. That was so fun.
She was very excited to be able to participate.
Well, we'll do another one. We're definitely going to do another one of those. But like, as soon as I saw her, all I could think about was just some of those conversations with her and Brett, and just how her entire perspective is just she wants to be a part of it, and that's it. That's all that she really wants. And those kinds of people are so incredible and essential in this business, but that's unique to her in a lot of ways, because I know it's not the same for Colby. I know it's not the same for Clint.
Down there.
No, Colby's down here for me.
Oh, is he down there for you?
This way. Clint's
Oh.
this
He's over
way.
here
I got
for
you
me.
that way.
Yeah, for me, he's
and
over
that
here.
thing right there is that way.
Well, I guess that visual thing I was doing earlier probably isn't going to work then. So when Clint was talking, I was trying to look down because he's right under me. And when you were talking, I was trying to look over that way because that's where you are.
I don't know where to look on these things.
I'm guessing part of it.
I try not to
is gonna
look
be
at
me
myself,
staring off
but it's hard because I'm
void.
so vain.
Well, hey, if it was a mirror, you'd be set,
We'll get for the next one. We'll get you a mirror you can put behind your monitor, and you can just look right there.
No, I'm trying to avoid looking at myself because
Oh.
it's weird
Turn your
watching
screen
yourself
off.
talk, and then you forget what you're saying because you're like, oh,
Oh,
my mouth looks like that when I say that.
Well, that's why you should set it up in the 4-pack view so that you see all of them at the same time. Then you can't.
That's what I got.
Oh yeah, and you're still just looking at your little
He's
square
just
only.
looking,
No.
just looking at
No,
you.
I'm not, but it's hard not to,
Yeah, my eyes
You
are
gotta
drawn
make
right
sure
there.
Your like shirt, everyone can read your shirt and everything.
Yeah, I do like that shirt, by the way.
The Rick and Morty election shirt.
Uh,
Okay.
I also have the Lebowski 2020 shirt. So
oh, do you?
for what it's worth.
Well, those are good shirts, man. Those are good shirts.
Nothing like a good shirt.
I'm probably going to get roasted for this, but is that Morty's last name is Smith?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You don't hear it much. You hear it Jerry Smith, his dad. But you
Yeah,
don't hear Morty Smith a lot.
I've only seen like 3 or 4 episodes, so.
Yeah, it's one that I wasn't really able to get into very much. Yeah. You guys know me. I have a hard time just getting into new shows. Period.
I think
Yeah.
you and Rex have a hard time with nihilistic shows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You like a little more heart, I think, in it. And I don't mind a real pessimistic comedy.
Well, I don't mind it. I just there's only so much of it I can watch before I get tired of it because in the end it's usually all the same. It's like watching Always Sunny. The stuff is really good, but after about 5 or 6 episodes, you're like, okay, they're just asshole people. So
Yeah. I can't binge that show personally. Like I love Always Sunny, but I can only watch a handful of episodes before I have to watch something else.
yeah, Curb Your Enthusiasm. I'm kind of the same way. Within one episode, I can't stand listening to Larry David anymore because I just want to. Just hearing him, it's like
he'd probably take that as a compliment.
He probably would.
Yeah, but don't you agree with him sometimes? Larry David usually has a good point. He's just so obnoxious about,
And that's the deal is like, not really. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I haven't seen enough of them, but like, I was watching an episode the other day, and it's the one where his buddy's dad dies, and he goes to the ball game and like tries to get him to give him his dad's seat, and his buddy, and in that whole thing, there is not anything about Larry David being right through any of that shit, and that's usually where I start going. I can only take so much of that kind of stuff because after a while, it just gets old.
But he's good at like. I just spilled shake on my shirt I was bragging about. You believe that?
Didn't you do that last time?
You just wanted to show it off. You're more like, oh, look, I've got a clean shake off of this great shirt I'm wearing. You can purchase at Teespring.com.
It's going to be my thing that I'm going to have an iceberg shake every time we do one of these.
Oh, is that how it's going to be?
You got to gain some weight, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, every Monday, man. That's a lot of shakes.
Whittling away into nothing, man.
Might get diabetes.
I'm dying.
What's his name? Wilford Brimley or
Wilford Brimley.
Yeah.
What about him? Oh,
We'll have to have him come on and do a PSA for us about milkshakes on chats.
Right?
Tell us some Quaker Oats.
It'd be pretty good. Maybe if we could go back in time.
Yeah,
what
I was
is
just
it,
gonna say we'll bring him back
15
from the
years or
dead.
so. Let's get Vincent Price on here too, as long as we're reanimating the dead.
We can do it. We can do all of it.
Let's get Bob Barker.
Is he dead?
No, not yet.
I don't know.
I don't think he is. I'm
he
pretty
might
sure
be.
he's alive.
I'm gonna look it up.
Maybe we can get him on the show then.
I'm gonna look it up. Bob Barker. No, he is alive, but he is.
Is he in worse shape than Sean Connery?
No one's in worse shape than Sean Connery.
Yeah,
but I will say this: he is extremely goddamn old. He's 96 years old.
Yeah, but
so
does he look a
he's
day
like
over
invincible.
60? I mean, if that's the case, then
he was like
you know,
80 something when he was in Happy Gilmore.
yeah.
I can't even imagine. Like, oh wow, yeah.
Did you know that Chuck
Francis
Norris
King.
taught him karate?
He's rough. He's rough. Really? I buy that.
Chuck Norris taught old Bob, gave him his black belt.
Huh.
Oh yeah, here's a picture of him wearing a black belt.
Boom.
Oh my gosh.
I know my Bob Barker.
He's got like he's that special microphone on the really long stock. He spins it like a nunchuck. Like that's his signature move.
He does mic checks.
Mic chucks, yeah.
Yeah, that microphone's silly. That was silly.
Hey, nothing he did was silly.
Oh man.
Hitting on all the contestants, telling people constantly to spay and neuter their pets.
Hey, he was in the right place. You know, his heart was in the right place.
I'm not gonna say he's a national treasure, because if I do next week, it's gonna turn out he's like a horrible sex offender or anything. I hope not, because I love Bob Barker, but I'm just saying it keeps happening, and so I'm
Bill Cosby jinx.
Oh God, yeah.
Right.
No shit.
Right.
I think it's a stipulation to actually become a national treasure, though. So we're just looking at it wrong. You have to have a terrible past.
Everyone's got skeletons. Just hopefully his are not as bad as they could be.
Hope they're of age.
Love Bob Barker. He's adorable. Like it's him and Mr. Rogers and Bob Ross and all those guys.
Well, that's the thing, though, is if you look at a lot of that stuff, a lot of those guys do have really interesting pasts. I mean, the whole thing with Bob Ross and the way that he talked was because he was an Army drill sergeant or a Marine Corps drill sergeant or something like that. And when
I
he
heard something like that, yeah.
He was just like, you know, I'm not going to yell anymore. I'm not going to do that. So he changed. You know what I mean? And
so he went completely the other direction.
He did, but dude, that's the thing is just like what we're doing with Karma, man. Where you know, Ayame nailed it. Everyone's got skeletons. Everybody's done things. I mean, hell, I'm sure we all have plenty of stories from high school and stuff like that.
Not me.
Yeah, none that we're going to admit on this. Just throwing that out there.
You're what now?
I said none that we're going to admit on this.
Hey, we don't need to go telling tales out of church already.
Okay, I'm just
sitting here. I'm just saying that, you know,
and Colby is
things like that oftentimes inspire somebody to want to change and do something better, and finding an active way to get involved and do something. Spay and neuter your pets. You know, do something to take. All of those things are great actions to move forward in that way. Just like it's no different than us with Karma. You know what I mean? It's that thing of, you know, you can see where there's been these things. Maybe you've participated in things. You want to make a change. You need a small start. You need something to get you going. And this is an easy one to get people started. It really is. You know, the only thing easier would be maybe you know, acting like a Boy Scout and helping a little old lady across the street or something maybe. But this is the next best thing, because it really is just. Once you take that first step of saying, you know, I want to do something to make myself better, and you act on it, it makes the next one even easier. And then the next one gets easier. And before you know it, you're going from, you know, I helped somebody across the street to I opened a orphanage in South Africa to help people out. You know what I mean? It's just those little motions and those little movements is all that it takes to get you started down that path, you know? And a lot of people come at it in different ways, you know? And it's just, we're really lucky to have the tools and the ability to make it this easy for people. You know, that's the big one, is just how easy it can be to get involved and start making that change in your life, you know?
Yeah.
I agree.
It's a positive way you can make change. And I think you know, as I look through social media and stuff, you see all the finger pointing that we were talking about before, and people fighting and this and that. And I think their hearts are in the right place most of the time. They're posting something to invoke change, and then it turns into a fight, and it's counterproductive. Where you take action like we're doing with Karma, it's easy, it's action, and you can make a real difference. You're not drawing lines in the sand, you're feeding people, and you're strengthening your community and each other. And that's the opportunity I see with it is, hey, here's an alternative to throwing up a post about how you think the world should be. Because that isn't working.
Useful.
It just pisses people off and starts fights. What I love about Karma is it's not politicized. It's cut and dry. You feed people, you make the world better, you feel better, you act better. People around you mimic that. It's pure and it's good, and that's why I like it. And that's, I think, what people are striving for. A lot of people are looking for it by sharing something, then they end up in a fight. You've seen them.
Yeah.
And this is real action you can take and feel like, yeah, we can make the world better. Because it does. It starts with you, and it starts inside. It doesn't start out there.
Big one. That's the big one that, you know, the finger pointing, everybody remembers the old thing when you point forward, how many you're pointing backwards? That's because it all starts right here, you know? Colby, lay it on me, man. What was your big thing? Why Karma? What was the thing for you, man? I mean, what made it unique to you?
Well, so I've always been a big fan of like business in general, and I learned at a pretty young age that I was a big fan of network marketing in general because of the whole concept of everybody has to work together or nobody wins type idea. Like everybody has to work together, and so it helps build teams, and it's just a very positive kind of business model. And then the fact that nobody has taken network marketing to this type of level or extent, because I know in some of them you could buy like powders and they were just gonna be protein shakes for starving kids in other countries, and you could do things like that, but that was never even like their main product, I guess. So the whole idea behind Karma is just crazy ingenious and simple, and the fact is like, yeah, here's the product, we're ending hunger. So I mean, that's the issue. If charities worked, there wouldn't be any charities, I guess. So
right,
I can see why they don't want
to. We wouldn't need them anymore.
Yeah, they would put themselves out of business. So why don't we make it a business? Oh, business is good. But so that was like, I mean, it's just, Karma is, you can look it up. It's literally, that's what this business is. It is karma. You get what you put in. The more you help, the more you get out of the actual business. Because, I mean, all you're really doing is promoting what you do. That's like my whole job in Karma, is to let other people know that there is this vehicle out there that you can actually make an impact in your community. You can do this and you will be rewarded for it. So why would you not want to spread the good word?
That's right. Bingo, man.
Yeah, become like a missionary for karma. I thought this through, thinking about it a lot, and I just need a companion, I guess.
Well, and for me, I'm not a fan of the raunchy details of business and how business is done these days.
Oh yeah.
And you talk about network marketing, everyone I've looked into before, there's a lot of fine print, a lot of details, and it's designed pretty much to make few people a lot of money.
Very true. A lot of
the business plan to karma is one page. It's simple, and more money goes to the actual buying the food than any charity ever dreamed of.
Oh yeah.
So I like it because it's simple. Cut the bullshit. Let's get real. Let's help each other. We don't need the fine print. We don't need all the screw you over details. This is it.
Yeah. And if you're in, you're in. That's it. There's nothing more to it. That's all you have to be is involved and willing to contribute. And that's the other side of this too, is, you know, if you don't contribute, you don't receive, because that's how nature works too. You know, I can't go out and reap a harvest if I didn't plant one to begin with, you know? So it all ties into that same natural idea, but it, like you said, Clint, simple, basic, the easiest of things. And all you have to be is you have to act.
If ever there was a business patterned after nature and the golden rule, the original golden rule,
yeah,
this is it. It's pure and simple. That's it. I don't like details. I don't have a good enough memory for them. I've been screwed way too many times.
I can get on that.
I think a lot of people have been hit that way, Clint. And that's, you know, that's the bigger one, is just like that. Everybody's got that little bit of that experience where they feel like they've been hit or they've been jaded. And you know, sure, it's hard taking your lumps, but at the same time, if you've got something where you know that, hey, I'm going to keep acting for good, and if I keep doing it, it can turn those lumps into something more, it makes it easier to fight through it. It makes it easier to want to stick with it, you know, because in the end, that is what nature teaches. You know, it's just that. If you sow, you will reap. These cycles are how things work, and that's really, you know, karma in its original Sanskrit interpretations. That's all that it is action. You know, whether you're taking a positive action or a negative action, it doesn't matter. It's an action, and whatever you receive back from that action is simply going to be the recompense of the positive or negative side of whatever you did. But in the end, if you do nothing, that's still an action because you did nothing, you know? So it has to do with, you're going to act no matter what. Act positively. You know, most people would think that, you know, doing nothing is pretty negative. That's usually something where you're just sitting back and taking it easy. A lot of people might say they're stuck in a rut. You know what a rut is, don't you guys? It's a grave with the ends knocked off. That's all that it is. You know, when you say you're stuck in a rut, you're feeling yourself just down in there. But easiest way to get out of that is move. Do something yourself, and before you know it, you're out of that and on to something more. And it doesn't take a lot. Something simple. You know, anything. Go.
It's like that. What was that quote about the set of your sail or whatever?
Oh, the old Jim Rohn.
Yeah, where it doesn't take much.
Win, but the set of your sail that gets you to where you want to go. You know, that's one of his great ones. It's
because like an inch can be thousands of miles off.
Yeah. Well, and here's the deal. Right now, we are all living through proof that that's exactly what happens. Right now, the entire world has the same wind blowing on it economically. Stay at home. you know, don't
Yeah.
go to work. Keep
That's the beauty. I mean,
Giving the north wind a run for its money with your
shouldn't we
dual
be-
performance there.
yeah, you like that?
Technically-
So, literally, we all have
Oh,
the
sorry.
same exact wind blowing on us. And the thing that's going to determine where Ayame or Colby or Clint or where any of us end up is how we choose to work with it. Are we going to lean into it and just let this wind buffet us wherever it's going to take us and just say, oh, well, that's how it is? Or do you want to grab the bull by the horns, you know, and I try not to get too graphic here, you know, but certain.
Well, I mean, you know, we've already had several things we're going to have to bleep out for the YouTubers.
Who cares? You know, they'll get over it. But that's the end of it right there. And really, that action, that bowl, it can be like this kitty cat right here. And, you know, taking it by the ears and moving, it's really pretty easy if you just want to look at it like a kitty cat instead of a bull, you know? So that's all it takes. And it's pretty impressive. So
I feel like more people should be signing up because then they could be working from home or from a beach in quarantine and still
earning an income,
sure
right?
there's food on those shelves.
Well, dude, it's the ultimate pay it forward for these kinds of scenarios. You know, everybody's worried about, am I going to be able to make money to put food on the table? What if you just went out and picked up food for free because somebody else paid for it to be there? That stress and that worry, man, makes life so much easier, right?
Oh yeah.
You know, and that's karma. That's what we do, you know. You see all the stories. Oh, great thing happened at Starbucks. The guy in front of me bought my coffee. You imagine if you said, hey, that person in front of me just bought my week's worth of food. You know, how much more heavy is that? How much more care does it show for your fellow human than that of, look, I'm going to take it on myself to make sure you've got the ability to keep going.
Well, and then what does that kind of business do? Then maybe that guy who was the recipient of that food joins Karma, and now he's buying other people's food.
Bingo.
And everyone he talks to it about, you know, starts doing the same thing. And in order to be a millionaire in this business, you got to feed millions and millions of people.
Dude,
If
10 to
you're doing
1.
that,
It's a 10-to-1 ratio. For every dollar I make, I've got to give away $10 in food.
There's no charity that can touch that.
Yeah.
No government and no church.
Yeah. Well, and then, you know, when it comes down to it and you start looking at things, there's not a system out there that allows people to play the economic game to the extent that we do. You know, most people, it's just like we've said, you're trading your money for your time. You know, I go to work for a job that pays me $18 an hour. That's my trade-off. For every hour I'm willing to give up, I can make $18, right? So this is what my time is worth. And all of our time is infinitely more valuable than that because we've only got so much. You know, I mean, any one of us in a good lifetime might hit 100 years old, you know, maybe, you know, and that's not a whole lot. So the more I can do with my time to do the fun with it that I want to, that's so invaluable to me, you know. And when you start getting into jobs and you start scaling up, if you go from just being an employee, you can get into other areas where you can start earning things like, you know, stock packages, or maybe you're earning a commission based on percentages and stuff like that. But really, everybody knows the place that you want to be to maximize your income is you want to be the boss, you know, because in the end, I'm working for $18 an hour, but my $18 an hour is building into that guy's future more than it is mine, because he's making 10 times that for being the guy in charge, for the guy taking all the risk, you know. And risk is definitely worth reward. You cannot fault anybody for wanting to say that their endeavors and their actions and their drive is worth something to them, because it absolutely is, you know. But if we can level that playing field and get it so that everybody is in that same kind of position to where they can kind of control and dictate their own destiny to that regard, that's true economic might is what it is. And we have the ability to do that with literally giving people an easy way to earn large commissions percentages off of something very small. You know, show me a business that pays 40% commissions on stuff. They don't exist. You know, so real estate, you got what, like 5%, maybe 6% commissions. You know,
I think drug dealing, you might make that.
Yeah, it's not much. You know, your sales commissions aren't that much. So they're just not a system out there like what our business does to allow us to reward people for their contribution the way that we can. So it's really incredible. It's just an incredible thing.
It
Well,
is.
Go ahead. What? What'd you say?
Sorry, I'm losing an animal here, and I don't want to lay back on it. Damn thing.
Where did that kitty come from?
The neighbor across the street, he really nice guy, really friendly. He found him at his work, and he had 3 of them. And you know, Mom, she took him in and helped nurse him up. They're all but potty trained and all that stuff. So now I'm trying to give him away. I got a friend that'll probably take this one off my hands tomorrow, but you know, she's horrible. She's horrible, because she's trying to get me to like it so much that I won't get rid of it. That's the whole goal. She's up there cleaning,
not to like a kitty.
ironing, and I've got to babysit.
Well, it's okay. I mean, it's not like you're doing anything tremendously important at the moment.
No.
At least you know, ironing is here, and what you're doing is right here. So, you know, it makes sense.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
What the hell is she ironing?
She irons her bed sheets and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. No.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. She things have got to be crisp and oh yeah, she does her thing. So love her dearly, but let her do her thing.
Oh yeah, this is the best. Just
Clint, you remember? Come on, man.
I don't remember anybody ironing bed sheets.
Oh, yeah. She if she can iron it, she likes to.
That is insane.
Mm-hmm.
I love her to death, but ironing bed sheets, there's got to be
better uses of your
better
time.
use of time. I mean, I'll steam up my bed sheets, but I won't iron them.
oh
man.
But another thing I was going to say too is I really liked what Rex was saying the other night, Jake, about you know, he touched on how Karma isn't just, it's a distribution company. We're not making another product that's going to end up in a landfill. We're not, you know what I mean? We're not.
Well, it's you know, it's kind of crazy, and this would be an interesting one to get into probably during our next one, because we're, you know, it really is such a big topic to start diving into, you know. But really, one of the it's more from we're moving away from consumption. The idea is that, you know, and believe
consumer
it or not,
isn't a pretty term to me.
What's that?
Consumer. Who wants to be a consumer?
Well, dude,
why wouldn't you want to be a creator?
Creating is good. Creating is good, and it's
consumer. That's what we want to be.
Well, in a way, we are. We're.
I know we are, but you know what I mean. Let's strive for something better here.
Yeah,
it's gotta kind of like it sounds like
American
a very negative
consumer.
thing, and I mean it is if that's all you're doing, yeah.
Well, here's the funny thing. here's the funny thing, guys, is a lot of nations, that's the ideal, is to build into something where your people feel like they can just participate in the world without having to work themselves to get there. Because that's the dirty little secret about any one of these, like, the major nations in control and stuff like that, is that they got there doing a lot of hard work in a lot of different ways in things that people might not like in some cases. No country is innocent of any of it. And so it's time for our systems to move beyond the needs of that type of mentality, because there's nothing wrong with consumption. In all reality, we all do have to consume a little bit to keep going. I mean, Clint, you're consuming a milkshake right now to give you energy to stick with us through this podcast and keep you on track.
Right. I just think if 50 years from now, 20 years from now, we're known as not the American consumer, if there's a different way to describe us that's more beneficial to each other and to our habitat.
Well, bigger than that is the resources that don't get consumed. Those are the ones going to the landfills, right? That's the big thing, is a lot of that stuff going into the landfill is resource and material that other people couldn't make use of. And a lot of it's because of that reason that they didn't pay for it. I didn't have the money to go buy that lamb steak, and so the grocery store had to throw it in the dump. You know what I mean? There's a lot of that excess out there that the only reason it's not bought up is, or the only reason it's not given to people is because it's not paid for. And that's where, the idea, and this is the thing that it's a funny one to think of, is that we become producers of economic energy and creators of economic energy by playing in the game. By us going to the stores and buying materials and stuff like that, we are actually becoming producers in the economic game, but we're consumers as well, because we're buying resources for us to use, right? So really, all of these things, that's why I say consumption isn't bad. Consumption is actually a necessary part of the problem.
Of course.
The thing that we're changing is we're going to become economic powerhouses by being, like you said initially, distributors. We're the people that are going to jump in the middle and go, look, there are people that need this resource, and we're going to get it to them. And if we can get that resource to those people and get other people to do it with us, that's how I'm going to become an economic producer, because that's going to become how I make my income, and that income is what I feed directly back into the economy. So my consumption is completely outweighed by not only my production level, but my distribution level. Because in the end, a product has to be created, distributed, consumed, and then that energy or that money returned back to the company to start the whole process over again. So what we're doing is we're sitting there and going, instead of me just playing in these two parts, I'm going to play in all parts of the cycle. And that's where it really becomes, like you said, we're now creators. And it's not because we create a new product. We're not putting something new out there to end up in the landfill. It's because we're taking what's already made and getting it to those that need it. The people that actually could use that resource to alleviate those other concerns, to, like you said, do something bigger with it. If I don't have to worry about where my food comes from, then all of that money, all of that economic energy that I have, I can put that towards private schooling for my kids, or I can put that towards, further investments into my own future, or starting a trust fund, or maybe I'm going to start putting that money into ending cancer. You can do anything else with that resource to start making it to do work for you as well. Because
that is a good point. Well, I was just going to say, it's like, that is one thing, again, kind of, at least our agents specifically at the moment, is like, you talk about, Angela, she was always talking about like going out and starting a community garden with the proceeds that she made from Karma. We had, I can't remember his name, that, every year he would take what he earned in Karma and take it back and do Toys for Tots. Was that no? What?
That's.
I mean, I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you didn't also do that. I'm just saying there was that somebody.
Josh, that buddy of mine, Josh Hawk, that I had talked to about the same thing.
Right.
So, but yeah, no, and that's the point, is that, you know, in the end, when you've got the resource and the ability, why not put it into good things for humanity and better all of us? Because in the end, a rising tide raises all ships, you know. And right here, I see 4 hell of a good-looking ships out there that are ready for that tide to raise a little bit more, you know. Bring everyone with us. So
My boards are getting crickety and waterlogged.
no. That's just experience, Clint, and that's why. That's really why this kind of stuff needs to happen. Is, you know, you guys have been doing this as long as I have. You know, I can't think of 4 people that understand the ins and outs. Well, and I'm not even going to say 4, because that's a little bit, you know, this kind of stuff. But it's really 3. I can't even think of 3 better people to talk to with better perspectives than you guys. I really can't. It's because everybody has all of those little pieces that bring it together, and everybody is as varied as the sunshine when it comes to, you know, their reasoning behind wanting to do this. So, excuse me, 1 second.
Coronavirus.
That's why he's all the way over there and we're not there.
Yeah.
Don't say it.
Right.
Don't say it. You're gonna start a panic, Colby.
Start a pandemic.
Well,
If you did, it wouldn't be bad.
Thanks for putting this
we're
together,
still in the
Jake.
middle of one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So, but ooh, hang on 1 second here, guys. Let me look at something. Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. Had a quick little thing to do here.
Okay, now we're going to get content ID. Nice. I specifically didn't have music playing in the background for that reason.
It's just spreading some knowledge.
Was somebody calling? Was somebody calling you?
No.
Is that your ringtone?
I'm just telling you that I'm starting with the man in the mirror.
Ah, I like it.
So.
I'm gonna make a change.
Well, dude, that's, you know, it's funny that we listen to all of those songs and we tend to often overlook the simplest part of the message.
Yeah, right?
Right?
That's why I like that one a lot. It's like, yeah. My Karma theme song.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
I think it's just Clint's theme song in general.
It used to be.
Well, we're gonna have to each come up with our own new theme songs. That'll be a karma challenge for everybody, is to come up with a new theme song.
Oh, man, I don't know if I can do that.
I want originals.
Even better.
All right. Well, let me give old Kevin McLeod a call. So I don't think I can afford John Williams, but you know, maybe.
You can't? What do you mean you can't? I thought you had him on like retainer or something.
I have to hire Jonathan. I have to figure out a way to hire Jonathan Frakes for my sister's bachelorette party, and he costs upwards of $200. So that's my yearly budget for entertainment.
That's like 2 years.
Yeah, really, realistically, yeah.
Right.
I don't even know who those people are.
Did you never see? Okay, so did you ever see Star Trek: The Next Generation?
Like the TV show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one with Patrick Stewart?
Yeah. I've seen it.
Jonathan Frakes is number one. He's the guy with the beard, he had a beard.
He did.
He was the second in command, but he was also on this really amazing show called Beyond Belief Fact or Fiction, which is like my sister's and mine favorite show, because it's like he is so goddamn funny on it. Like it's like an little kind of an anthology show where it's like they have 5 different little short segments, and 3 of them are real and 2 of them are not real. And you have to guess which one is real and which one isn't. They're all like kind of vaguely supernatural in some way.
That's fun.
But well, it was a great show, and he introduced each segment, and then like he was hosting it, and he would introduce each segment and he would end each segment with a little outro. And his writers were just like, they were ridiculous. Like it's nonstop like puns and stupid jokes, and he's the perfect level of super corny and super serious, and he knows that it's funny, but like it's supposed to be serious, and it's if you haven't seen it, look it up on YouTube. It's brilliant.
I'm gonna.
What's it called?
It's called Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction. You can skip season 1 because season 1 is a different host and it's not as good.
Oh.
Hmm.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna do it.
There's on YouTube, they have like these, basically just these quick clips of just really random things that he says. It's very funny, but you need to see it in context really to fully appreciate it.
Let me know when you've watched all the Rick and Mortys, and then I'll look it up.
I can almost guarantee you that is never going to happen.
I don't understand you.
I sat down the other day and I tried to watch them.
I thought I knew you. I thought that would be right up your alley, dude.
I don't know why. It's
bizarre.
I think it's the fan base.
I
think the fan base turned me off to it before I
really kind of with you on that one, Ayame.
And I get it because I've been a part of big fan bases before, but
you can't blame a fan base for like if it's like.
I'm not blaming the fan. I'm not saying it's not a good show.
I'm
just saying me personally, like I watch it and I can't get into it, and I think that might be why. Like it, as far as I can tell, it's extremely well written. I personally don't care for the style of it. Like
Dan Harmon is the creator, and he did the first 3 seasons of Community,
which is another thing I haven't seen yet.
And yeah, he's really smart. He's a smart writer.
Yeah, I mean, I love the layers of it, like based just on what I've seen. Like I've seen the first, I think 5 or 6 episodes, probably 5 if I don't count the pilot. The last one I saw was the one where they find out that the Morty that becomes president of the Citadel is actually the evil one with the eye patch. Is the last episode I saw
That's a cool one. In
sequence. But I've also seen like 2 or 3 episodes scattered throughout the rest of it. And I mean, it's clearly very deep and very well written in that regard. I watch it and I'm like, why am I sit there and I'm going, why am I watching this? I would rather be doing literally anything else. Why am I still watching this? And, you know, it'll probably turn out to be like 5 years from now. I go back and I'm like, oh, why isn't anybody watching Rick and Morty now? It's the best show ever. But
I do that with music a lot. New stuff comes out.
Yeah.
And I don't give it a chance. And like 10 years later, I like it.
That's
I hated grunge when it came out back in the day because I was a metalhead. And now I go back and I like it.
Yeah.
Some of it.
Yeah. It's all of this makes me think of that South Park episode where Cartman wants to get Family Guy off the air, and everyone's like, but Cartman, it seems like your favorite kind of show. It's right up your alley. And his whole reasoning that he hates it is because people always tell him that.
Yeah. Don't lump me in with whatever fan base because
I'm absolutely not doing like I don't.
Like,
again,
I'm
I don't
in my
mean
40s, so I should be, like, exempt from being any part of, like, any fan base. Not some twerp with a freaking lightsaber running around.
Hey, except for one thing.
That's today. Today's May 4th.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
I have a lightsaber right back there. So, but, well, and again, it's
May
like.
the Schwartz?
May the Schwartz.
No, let's see. I definitely understand because again, you know, I've been a part of fan bases that have turned really toxic, and I try not to associate with that.
It's a toxic fan base.
Dude, do you spend any time online?
Yeah, not looking at that.
Well, so it basically describes the phenomenon of like when fans of a thing become so obsessed, I guess, that they start to become like crazy and gatekeepy, and like if you don't like this thing, you're an idiot. If you don't agree with this, you can't quote. The
I
Rick
used to
and
be
Morty
like that in Karma, to be quite honest.
Well,
it's just like if you don't get it,
it's okay.
you're stupid.
But
yeah, I think because Rick and Morty is pretty deep and intelligent and stuff, you get Tool fans are kind of that way too. A little bit like, oh, you just don't get it.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think it's they're fans of anything can get like that.
Yeah.
It's personally, I don't think, like, from what I've seen of Rick and Morty, I don't think it's necessarily it's as smart as a lot of people portray it as. Like it is a smart show, and here we go. If this ever becomes like a big thing, I'm gonna get roasted for this for the rest of my life. It's not like you don't need an admission to Mensa to get it. It's a very clever show. It's very well written. It's the things that it does push the medium in a lot of ways. But, you hear a lot of people talk about it, or at least they used to. They don't really anymore, which is, in my opinion, why it's a good time to get into it. But people used to talk about it's like, oh, well, if you don't like it, clearly you're an idiot and all you do is drool into the dirt all day. And it's like, it's not that, it's a good show, but it's not, Stephen Hawking didn't write it.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been as successful.
I think he does one of the voices though.
Well, I would believe that.
Hey,
yeah, I'd believe that.
He's just doing voices from beyond is all that he's doing now. That's really what it is.
He's still alive.
I thought I read that he passed away a few months back.
I will look it up right now, but I'm pretty sure he is still alive.
I'm pretty sure the corona got him.
I think because I think a lot of people did.
Fear, not the virus.
Like,
yeah.
Batch.
Yeah.
He died in 2018.
Yep.
God.
March 14th.
Died?
If anybody's wondering.
Yeah. He, sorry, guys.
It's a bummer.
March 14th, 2018. He passed away.
Yeah, that's
it is sad.
So kind of crazy, but it's funny that he can do voices from beyond. Think about that.
Yeah.
Well, apparently we've already cracked reviving the dead because we're already bringing back.
Hey. We're gonna bring back him. We're gonna bring back who else did we say?
Not Bob Barker because he's still alive. Vincent Price.
No celebrity comes back before Neil Peart.
Yeah. Then we'll get Joe Walsh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get Walt Disney on here. That'll be the big one.
Man.
We just have to de-thaw him.
They only have his head frozen. It's not all of them. It's just his head.
De-thaw him or stick his head on a robot and have him kick Kathleen Kennedy around the block for drill for what she did to Star Wars.
You know what? It would be. It's a great thought. Yeah.
Don't get me started. This is where I got to sign off.
That's a whole other thing.
I think that's where we'll go ahead and call this one before we start going down a rabbit hole of negativity with Star Wars.
I don't want this to become toxic.
Yeah. Can't have that.
So, are we doing like a question and answer thing or no?
So how this is going to work is when people chime in, we'll look at doing questions and things like that. We didn't really have anything come up today. So we'll kind of be addressing them.
Sorry.
That's part of the control that's on Rex and I's end when it comes down to these things. So as we do have live viewers and people, we're going to do it more like almost like a show style where we'll kind of look at the questions and answer ones more particular to this thing that we're doing or who we're talking with and engage with them that way. But so not really any Q&A or anything dedicated to the times. these are really meant to be us sitting here talking. If people chime in with things, we did have, I mean, we had a couple of attendees. Eric, it was good to have you with us, buddy. We hope that you heard something good. And
Yeah, I'm glad you
Yeah, it's good
glad
to
you're
have
watching.
one of these times here soon. So, but yeah,
Happy late birthday.
yes, happy late birthday.
Yes, happy
And
late birthday.
holy cow.
Or happy birthday again.
But a lot of how these things are how they're gonna evolve is more of that, where we're gonna kind of stick with the panelists and the people that are presenting, and we'll interact with people that do start kind of working into those sessions. So, and sessions is the wrong term, because these are just gonna keep growing. These will get more fun. But thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I can't tell you all how just wonderful it is to work with guys like you. I mean, hell, what kind of a business is there that I can be in where I've got two of my best friends, my older brother, my younger brother, and just all the people that I love and appreciate being with involved with me in an endeavor to end hunger? You know what I mean? Like, that's the dream right there. It's what it is. So
It really is, and this will be the last thing I say, but it is, if you want to check all the boxes with whatever business you want to do, as far as, philosophically, spiritually, economically,
yeah,
living within your carbon footprint, whatever it is, like this one checks all the boxes.
it really does.
It's good for the soul.
I agree.
Yep.
And while it's feeding our soul, we're going to feed the world space. That's what we're going to do.
Stuff in their faces. Watch Rick and Morty.
All right, guys. Well, I love all of you. It's been a lot of fun tonight. Thanks again for joining us. We'll be doing another one again here soon, and we'll just keep a good rotation, different guests and different people to talk with. So
Sweet.
I love
Sounds
you
good.
guys.
Love you guys.
Love you
Love
too.
you.
See you guys later.
Bye bye.
Bye.